All right, guys. Welcome in. Appreciate you tuning in. We're going to get right into this topic. I got to tell you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she surprises me, and she's actually surprising a lot of Republicans right now because Marjorie Taylor Greene is a huge supporter of the president, at least was. Huge Republican, conservative, strong value, that firebrand personality, doesn't care what anybody says, not going to take crap from any man. She's going to say what she feels when she feels it. That was her personality, that's standing up to whoever. Always supporting the president. And it's funny to me, as soon as you get the president's support and Donald Trump puts his full weight behind you and says, elect this person, elect MTG, she's great, and she gets elected, as soon as Donald Trump might make a little bit slip up or whatever, well, they all turn on Donald Trump. And this is confusing because she is being used right now in MSNBC and CNN. The Democrats are using her words against Donald Trump. Now, I'm confused here because Marjorie Taylor Greene is supposed to be a huge Republican, a huge conservative. And deportation, a strong border, is a conservative value. That's what we stand for. We want to make sure that the people in this country are here legally and for the right reasons and not trying to bring any Sharia law or jihadist type of mentality behavior over here. That's why everybody that comes to this country needs to be vetted. Now, why would MTG have a problem with deportation? Why would she have a problem with Trump getting people out? I'm going to play a few clips with MTG right here, but why would she have an issue with that? Well, we do know that illegal immigrants are known to be in a lot of work labor force, right? Construction, stuff like that. Marjorie Taylor Greene owns a construction company. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So you're going to hear these couple clips from MTG, but I feel like the start of it, of when she really started splitting from Donald Trump, was Israel. She does not like Israel. She does not like that we are supporting Israel. She does not like that we support Israel with financial funds, even though Israel is a huge ally, or one of our only allies in the Middle East, who gives us intelligence. I mean, that's one of the big things that Israel does for us, provides us with security intelligence, people that want to do harm to America. And Israel, being surrounded by all these people, all the terrorists, by the way, has a massive amount of intelligence that they feed America. That's one of the benefits. That's why we are a huge supporter of Israel. MTG does not like that America is a supporter of Israel. So let's just hear what she has to say about some of these things.
And here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag-draped coffins on the...
Their tune is going to drastically change. So she's thinking, well, how dare Donald Trump bomb Iran? Even though Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama, every president has said that Iran can never have nuclear weapons, can never happen, can't even get close to that. That is why Obama signed that terrible deal to make sure that Iran never had any nuclear weapons. And in order to do that, they made a deal with them saying, hey, look, you don't build any nuclear weapons. You get rid of all your nuclear resources. We're going to then, lift off the restrictions. And now you can have all this, I believe it was like 15 or something billion dollars that they gave Iran in order to compromise and say, hey, look, don't build any nuclear weapons. And we're going to give you this money back. We're going to lift all the restrictions so you can have this money back. It was a terrible deal, by the way, because as soon as that deal ended or was going to end, they have the right to start building again. And this is why Trump demolished the Iran nuclear deal. So I'm glad that he did that. But, I'm so confused on why Marjorie Taylor Greene has an issue with Israel, even though they say, the AIPAC. Well, why is AIPAC set to have a huge influence on the United States of America? Well, when you are constantly being threatened by terrorist organizations, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, all these people that say death to America, and you have a partner over here who's literally the neighbor of all those countries that want to have death to America, well, they provide so much great intelligence. That's why Israel's relationship with the United States is, you can't put a price on it. We need that relationship. But a lot of these clips are being played on MSNBC because Marjorie Taylor Greene, even Democrats said she's sounding more and more like a Democrat.
is sounding more like an anti-Trump resistor and somehow bringing in more logic, more reasoning into this debate than she is as a MAGA foot soldier.
I actually have a lot of thoughts on the Marjorie Taylor Greene pivot.
Let's have it. Give it to us.
I think we have some sound of her. And for people who don't know what she's sounding like, I actually think we should.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's play the sound. Thanks for calling it out. Go ahead.
Prices have not come down at all.
The job market is weakening.
Job market is still extremely difficult.
Right.
Wages have not gone up. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors. The focus should be the people that showed up at the rallies, stood there for freaking 18 hours trying to get in the rain, in the cold, in the 100-degree heat. For those people, those are the ones that I care about.
If I didn't know who Marjorie Taylor Greene was, I'd be like, she's a member of the Democratic Party with that talk.
It sounds like MTG is campaigning right now. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like, hey, I got all the support from Donald Trump and I'm elected now, but now that I got that support, I'm going to slowly turn my back on him because I see America not really feeling the deportation stuff. So I'm going to slowly turn my back on him and say, hey, I don't support that. But what I do support are the people that are standing out in the rain, which obviously everybody supports. You know, you should have support for your supporters, the people that are voting for you. It's just weird how slowly she has turned her back on Donald Trump and the Republican Party. I mean, even once you hear Cenk Unger and from the Young Turks, when he is complimentary of you, it's bad. You have literally lost all right to call yourself a conservative.
I'm shocked by. On immigration, I didn't see that coming. That is an unbelievable development.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
I really thought they were just going to go after the criminals. I really thought there was enough gang members and enough people, MS-13 members and whatever they were looking for, that they're wanted. They would go after those guys.
In recent days, both Joe Rogan and, yes, even Marjorie Taylor Greene have spoken out against President Donald Trump's deportation policies. And there's a lot more of that where it came from. So let's watch a little more from Rogan and Greene, essentially hitting Trump on the topic of immigration.
I'm going to speak from very real experience. We have a labor force in America across many industries that has been built on illegal labor. That's a fact. That also.
Mind you, she owns a construction company. Little bias, maybe. Maybe this is the reason why she's turning her back on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is not only getting rid of the illegals, I mean, all the criminals, but people that should not be here. So, I mean, in her, what she's trying to say is, hey guys, look, we know illegals are in here, and yes, they help our labor force, but let's not kick them out the country because they do a lot for our labor. So why not give that to an American? Why not give those, construction jobs to Americans? Well, I know, because those people that are hiring illegal immigrants can hire them so cheap, they'd be lucky to make $5 an hour. When this American is asking for 20, they can hire an illegal immigrant for 7. She would know. She's a construction owner.
So cannot be ignored.
Right.
And I'll say it like this, the same way I look at the health insurance industry and I'm analyzing, we need to build an off-ramp, but an off-ramp is gradual, right? Off of the Affordable Care Act, off of Obamacare into some sort of new system that is much better. I also look at this problem that we have with illegal immigration, that we can build an off-ramp there.
This is crazy to ask lower income and middle income people who are, kind of getting by, and then all of a sudden you're about to ship them to a country where they've never been. They haven't been since they were.
This is the problem that I have with it. How do you justify? Okay, I understand these people that have been in the country for years. Okay, but again, that doesn't make it right. So you're saying just because, again, Joe Rogan is not a politician, so I don't really blame Joe. Joe can say whatever he wants to. But if you're a conservative like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but a business owner, no wonder she's on the side of illegal immigrants, because illegal immigrants help her construction business. But Joe Rogan literally saying, well, you're shipping them off to a country that they've never seen or they haven't been to in years. But so you just allow them to stay in the country? You just allow illegals to stay in the country just because they've been here for a certain amount of years? That's crazy.
For
Yeah.
and you're gonna pull up their family and pull up, and they've been in the community like that. That shows no heart.
But you know, that is a Democratic position because they've been in here for so long that it's allowed. You can't put them back into their country because they've been here for so long. They're used to the American customs. It wouldn't be right to send them back to their country. But they broke the law. And this is the last clip I'm going to show is MTG finally turning her back on Trump.
To that end, she recently appeared on Tim Dillon's podcast and made some news by admitting that she thinks the tariffs might be getting in the way of President Trump's agenda by driving up costs for manufacturers. Let's watch.
And I'm talking to major manufacturing companies they're saying we support the president, we support what he's trying, his long-term goal, but we're having problems with these tariffs. And now we're having problems. We can't get supplies from this country and we can't get supplies from this country. And there's problems. But have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet. And that needs to be the major focus.
And it's not just tariffs. MTG also explained why the administration's deportation policy, if taken to an extreme, is going to hurt American businesses. Watch this.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right. So she claims to be America first. But is she America first, or is she her business first? Because she's literally saying before the campaign trail that, yes, illegal immigrants need to go 100%. We can't have these illegal immigrants in our country. Yet she thought it was only going to be criminal. She didn't think that her personal business was going to be affected. So now that her personal business is being affected, and a lot of illegal immigrants, maybe not just criminals, well, all the illegal immigrants that are here illegally can be shipped back to their country. She doesn't like that because it affects labor. It affects her personal business of a construction company. So this is what I have an issue with. She got support from Donald Trump. Donald Trump and our supporters came back and said, you know what, MTG, we support you. You're our firebrand conservative. You're going to stick up for whoever else, and you're not going to take crap from any woman. You're not going to take crap from any man. You're just going to say how you feel. We love that about you, MTG. You're in office. And she says, yes, hooray, we support you, Donald Trump. Cool. And as soon as all these clips going up about deportations and people in vans being taken away, which, by the way, they're illegals, whatever, she is now feeling the effects because MTG has a construction company that she owns, which is kind of funny because now she's saying, whoa, hold off. I thought you were just trying to get the criminals out of here, which, by the way, if you're coming here illegally, you are a criminal. I thought you were just trying to get the criminals out of here. You never said anything about the regular illegal immigrants. They're affecting the labor force. They're huge for our labor force. You just can't just get rid of all the illegal immigrants. So now we see where MTG lies. It's not about America first, because if it was about America first, you wouldn't want any illegal immigrants in here because they're unvetted, they're not checked, they haven't gone through the proper protocols. They need to get all these verifications done in order to be in our country to make sure that you're not a jihadist or you're not with the cartel or whoever. But now that her personal business and her dollar is being affected, whoa, Donald Trump, you're doing way too much. I can't believe, how dare you kick out the illegal immigrants? I can't believe this. We need to have a smarter solution. What that tells me and what that tells everybody else is that you don't care about America. You care about your pocketbook. And now that Donald Trump got you into office, because first of all, you wouldn't have never got into office without Donald Trump's support. Let's just be honest about that. But now that you got Donald Trump's support and you're in office and now you're elected and now you see how some of Americans are a little sketchy about deportations, now you want to ease back on your support. And now you see that Donald Trump isn't going to be in office anymore. So now you're saying, oh, thank God I got his support. Whoo, kick rocks, Donald, get out of here. Now I'm going to turn my back on everything that I was campaigning for, stronger border, stronger military, all this other stuff. And I'm going to try to make it known that I'm fighting for my constituents, the people that I'm going to fight for them. I'm going to look after you. Your health insurance is too high. I'm going to fight for you. So it's just very, very difficult now that we have a huge person in our party like MTG turning her back on the conservative movement. And now she's literally on all the news networks, liberal news networks. She's on CNN every day. She's on MSNBC every day, talking about how Trump is bad and how Mike Johnson, the speaker, is weak, and she never voted for him, and she wanted him to not be a leader of the party, and Donald Trump supports Israel too much, and Israel has a chokehold on America, and we don't need to be supporting Israel. We need to be supporting our constituents, which I would agree. We do need to be supporting our constituents, but we also need to be supporting Israel, because at the end of the day, Israel is our biggest ally in the Middle East. And if it weren't for the United States of America, Hamas, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan would all try to wipe out Israel. We know that Palestine doesn't recognize Israel as a state. They don't want a Jewish state out there. They don't recognize it. They want them gone. That's why they say globalized intifada, which is a violent uprising against the Jewish people. And this is why you support them. So I'm just I'm going to be very interested to see how MTG recovers from this. If you're talking about you don't like Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House, who's the leader of the Republicans in the House, you're turning your back on Donald Trump with the deportations. You're turning your back on Donald Trump when it comes to the tariffs, all the things that he's trying to do for the country. Which, by the way, it might take a little bit. Is inflation rising a little bit? Sure, but it's not something that it's just going to snap your fingers and all of a sudden the economy is going to be great. It's going to take. You got to play the long game. Okay, so these are all the things that Donald Trump knows, and that's why he has the smartest economics people around him. But we're going to see. I mean, MTG has literally just turned her back on the conservative movement, and is literally, conservatives are using her words against us right now. So I don't know how she recovers. Hopefully, I just don't see her recovering. She's going to have to, since she's talked bad about Donald Trump, she's going to have to leave the MAGA party. She's obviously still going to be a conservative, but she's now going to have to, I don't know, create her own party or something like that, because she's no longer in the MAGA movement. She doesn't have Donald Trump support. She doesn't have the House support, because you're talking about Mike Johnson, who's the leader of the House, and you called him weak and spineless, and he shouldn't be the leader. So you don't have his support. So who's going to support you in your next run? I don't know. But this is what happens. People that, are fake one ear and out the other. They try to get Donald Trump's support. Donald Trump says, all right, cool, I support you. All my voters vote for this person. All the voters vote for this person. And as soon as she gets the vote, as soon as she gets the power, see you later, Donald. We don't want you anymore. And I'm telling you, it's because the United States supports Israel, which she doesn't like, she hates, and because Donald Trump is kicking out illegal immigrants, which personally affects her business, because again, she owns a construction company, and illegal immigrants are known to be in the construction workforce. Period. I'm going to say it. That's how it is. MTG, I'm very surprised. I was a huge supporter of you, but now you turn your back on the MAGA. You turn your back on the Republican movement. You might as well be on Young Turks every single day. You might as well be on a CNN contributor now, because you're not with MAGA anymore. So I don't know where you can come back from this. All right, guys, remember, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here.